Hi guys, so today I decided to finally do a very quick and simple Q&A session with you guys. And well, I wouldn't want to say a Q&A session, but I finally decided to make a video to answer some of the questions that you guys have. So here goes. This is the first question, and the first question is from Leah1380. Okay, so Leah asked me, art of how to view great moments to capture, boleh tak? Okay, so for me, the most important thing is when I am about to go for any shoot, I will always make sure that I will have a look at other people's work, and I like to reference myself with other people's work so that I know that I'm looking at a different perspective and I'm not constantly sort of like using my own self-thought immediately as my reference before I go for any shoot. So I need to pre-visualize or write a note of the kind of shots that I really want to get. That means beforehand you have already roughly decided some of the shots that you want. So what actually happens is when I'm actually going for a shoot, some of these ideas of course will evolve into something else. So it's really important to actually have some idea before you're going for a shoot, so that you can actually develop those ideas during the shoot, because you're always improvising. When you're going for a shoot, there's always a time where you're constantly changing this or changing that. Yeah, I think that's really important to actually have references that you see just before a shoot, and I think that's really important. Okay, now let's go to the next question. Ghazi Maslan asked me, would love to know what is in your everyday camera bag. Well, what's in my everyday camera bag? Personally speaking, I like working light whenever I can, but personally, my wife Farah has been complaining about me actually bringing far too many gear nowadays. But if there was any camera or equipment that I tend to like using is I like to use my full frame 5Ds, and I'll have at least a 50mm lens. Whether it's the Olympus 1.4 old vintage lens or the 50 1.2. If I don't bring the 50mm, it will most probably be the 24mm 1.4, because I love that lens. I always find that if I bring the 24 1.4, then I know I am pretty much covered. You know, I'm not as worried as if I were just to bring the 50mm 1.2, because if I bring the 1.2, then yeah, I mean, most probably I won't get necessarily the right coverage. Next question is by Hafizuddin_Ahmad91. Hi Hafiz. Okay, you ask me, best lens for wedding, comparison editing in Windows and Mac. Okay, these are actually two questions. So, what is the best lens for weddings? Well, me personally, I like using my 50mm 1.2 here. This will be on my main camera body, and I'll also bring the 85 1.2. I like these lenses simply because it's very versatile. I mean, I find the 50 is in between a wide angle and almost a medium sort of like focal range. So I will always use the 50 on my main camera body, and I'll use the 85 1.2 on the other body. I do work naturally in weddings always with two bodies at least, but lately I've been working with three bodies. I'm using the A6500 as my third body. So I hope that helps answer your question, Mr. Hafizuddin Ahmad 91. Okay, now next question. Sorry man, your names are like really hard to pronounce, so I'm just gonna say the name is from Mr. The HNDRV. He asked me, okay, the best camera setting for doing, oh wait, hang on. Hafizuddin Ahmad asked me, sorry, isn't editing in Windows and Mac. I guess for me, the comparison between Windows and Mac in terms of editing, it really is a matter of preference. If you're comfortable with using a PC, go ahead and use it. For me, I'm comfortable using a Mac simply because I have an iPhone and I'm using everything pretty much Mac. So I don't want to have the integration of using different systems. Okay, sorry. Back to the HNDRV. So you ask me, what's the best camera setting for doing slow motion? Okay, the best camera setting for doing slow motion, at least for me, you should always double your frame rates with your shutter. So say for example, if you're doing a slow motion and you're using 60 frames a second, you should really double your frame rate for your slow motion up to 120th of a second. But because your camera doesn't have 120th a second, that means you need to actually put it at least to 125th of a second. So just double it. So I hope that answers your question. Okay, now to the next question by Soraya Akbar. How best to capture photos of toddlers? Yeah, how best to capture photos of toddlers? Well, this is quite a hard question. For me, I find that when you're shooting children, you're pretty much at their mercy. So the most important thing is, if you want to shoot children, one is definitely you've got to be able to communicate with the kids. You've got to be able to be pretty much on their level. You've got to be able to love kids, I guess, to a certain extent. And you've got to have a lot of patience. You've got to realize that when you're going to go and shoot children, you can't set your expectations too high, because if you do, you're going to feel really bad when you don't necessarily tackle all the things that you thought you wanted to shoot. You're not fully in control. It's the kids that are in control today. And don't be too hard on yourself. And I think that's really important. Okay, next question by mfunks619. Okay, now he asked me, di mana you belajar tangkap gambar dan video, dan siapa reference yang selalu you tengok? Thanks, Qippy. Okay, for me, okay, my reference, basically when I was really small, when I was really kecil, I used to like going through all the National Geographic magazines that my parents used to subscribe to. So it was from these magazines that I really got interested in photography, because some of the pictures in National Geographic is just simply mind-blowing. It's really beautiful, the composition is nice, the colors really struck me, and I was always inspired by people like Steve McCurry, James Natchway is one of them. I really like his work. Of course, you know, these are photographers that I really look up to, because their skill in photojournalism is just really good. So that's the quick Q&A session that I decided to do, because I have been putting it on the back burner and I have been avoiding it, because personally speaking, I'm not really comfortable in front of the camera. That's why I became a cameraman, if you guys didn't realize already. But yeah, I hope that answers pretty much most of the questions that you guys have been asking. But feel free to keep on sending me those questions. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, at Qippy's channel, and give us a thumbs up if you found this video helpful or useful at all. And I hope to see you guys in the next video, inshallah. Take care.